Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Indah Febiuranda. My student number is 41. I'm from class 002. I will deliver about thesis analysis. I choose to analyze a thesis entitled Supportive Teacher Tool and Interactional Strategies in an Elementary School EFL Teaching Context in Japan by General G.C. HOUGHAM. A dissertation submitted to the College of Arts and Law of the University of Birmingham in part fulfillment of the requirements for the degree of Master of Arts in teaching English as a foreign or second language. So first, I will explain about objective. The aim of the study is to identify features of the teacher's resources, language use, and interactional strategies that either construct or obstruct opportunities for students, particularly the more reticent ones, to participate and learn. It will be argued that using an appropriate research instrument, namely the self-evaluation of teacher tool or SAID framework, to collect and analyze classroom data, and then collaboratively interpreting this data in reflective feedback interview with college, can enable teacher resources to develop a heightened awareness of interactional processes and make conscious change to improve classroom practice accordingly. And then I will discuss about review of literature. The first is, in Japan, English is considered a foreign language or EFL, which is studied by students in Japan, while in other countries, English is considered a second language or ESL. The opportunity for students in Japan to have the opportunity to learn English is more limited than in other countries. In addition, Japanese has little in common with English and uses a different writing system as follows, such as in the circumstances. We need to be careful about using teaching techniques that were originally designed for a very different situation, at least until we critically question them. In the second literature, it is about Japanese elementary school student characteristics and needs. Most elementary school students in Japan have introduced English. Some students feel enthusiastic when learning English, while some students who have a quiet nature or are called introverts find it difficult to pronounce words into English. And with that, the school proposes that volunteer teachers who are willing to teach English to students to form a group in any form, for example, voice, a conversation, or whatever is for the needs of the students. And this volunteer teachers should recite a pronunciation example to students so that students get used to learning through hearing than accustomed to saying it. Most students who are in the upper class, such as 5 and 6, do not like English, and here students also need regular classes and have play activities in their learning. The third is developing classroom interactional competence. Here it is explained that the importance of the interaction in the classroom is to activate the classroom atmosphere, or what is called classroom interactional competence (CIC). The ability to use interaction as a tool for mediating and assisting learning. Interaction is a tool to improve student speaking skill, although CIC is highly context-specific. At least 3 of its features are common to all contexts. The first is the extent to which language use and pedagogic goals converge. The second is the extent to which it facilitates interactional space. The third is the extent to which a teacher can receive a learner's contribution and improve it in some way by scaffolding or shaping it. Let us look at each of these 3 features in turn. The fourth is language use and pedagogic goals. Language use and pedagogic goals must work together. A number of studies have focused on the relationship between language use and pedagogic goals as a whole. Adopt alternative approaches to describing classroom according to specific micro-contexts or fashions. And made the key point that language use and interaction vary according to teacher agendas and what happens in place certain moments. A teacher can activate themselves to develop a deep understanding of the relationship between a teacher, space, speech, interaction, and learning, enabling them to identify ways to improve the quality of their classroom practice and to make appropriate conscious change. The fifth is creating space for learning. Students need space for learning to participate in discourse, to contribute to class conversation, and to receive feedback on their contributions. A space for learning refers to the ways in which teachers not only create opportunities for participation, but also increase students' engagement, both at the individual and the whole class level. Promote dialogical interaction, increase abilities, following the principle and foundation of conversational analysis, CA theory, and focusing on the ways in which two non-native speakers teachers create a space for learning. Features identified in their data include increased waiting time, reduced echo, and scaffolding or formation defined below of the responses. The key finding from their study is that teacher can, through the use of such interactional features, influence the increase in qualitative and quantitative opportunities for participation and learning. The main implication of the study, which has special significance of relevance to this dissertation, is that the adjustment where minor managed interaction can produce a large increases in both number and character for room for study. Following Walsh and Lai, my own, his view is that participation alone cannot acquire to learning, but it influences learning somehow by providing opportunities for reflection and thought. The sixth is supportive teacher tools, scaffolding and feedback. A third feature of CIC that is common to all contexts is the extent of a teacher can accept the learning contribution and change it in some way by scaffolding or shaping it. Teachers change their speech in many ways during conversation with English students. For example, by using simple grammar and vocabulary. In doing so, they can help children by offering systematic support, which is often referred to as scaffolding. Brunner suggests that such a scaffold would have a greater chance of effectiveness if it acquired in classroom routines, which are features of even that provide context and familiarity for students to predict meaning and intentions, but it also offers a way for a teacher to gradually add variety and novelty that can involve more complex language. As a teacher not only teaches material to students but also has to gaze closer to the students. The second one is teacher-taught interaction with young learners in Japan. The result of languages as students are significant because they encourage a teacher to try to maximize the use of English with a large number and wide variety of adapted interactions in their classroom. To improve their basic communication skills, a teacher needs to develop CIC, which consists of three main abilities. The first is utilizing language and pedagogic purposes to work together. The second is creating interaction space for students to participate, contribute, and receive feedback on their contributions. And the last is scaffolding learners' contribution and feedback. And then I will discuss about method and approach. The first is an action research approach. The main idea of the AR action sections is to intervene in a deliberate way in problem situations to bring about change and, even better, improvement in practice. Importantly, the improvements that have acquired in AR are based on the informations or to use an extension of the research data. The Asian resources college in a systematic manner. The second is there is data collection and analysis using the following procedure based on Richard and Lockhart. The first is make entries regularly, start writing immediately or as soon as possible after teaching lessons or series of lessons. To guide journal entries, the second is review journal entries regularly. Again, using reflection questions to guide entries. In addition to the teaching journal, the disadvantage of the above method is that they acquire the subjective impression of teaching and by their nature can only capture memory and interpretation of events and not the actual events themselves. To get a more objective goal from the perspective of actual event itself. Um, this method using by audio and video recording of a series of lessons and conduct a reflective and feedback interview with college. The third is participants and teaching context regarding reflective feedback interviews. This was conducted with my coworkers using a stimulate withdrawal procedures adapted from walls. Colleagues were selected based on their qualification, experience, and on-time availability, and to get full approval for the record to be written in language. Japan's describe the goals and procedure of learning. And then I will discuss about analysis. Interactional features of language use. Extract data from audio recordings of lessons and reflective feedback interview will be presented to illustrate this and other features and expand their significance, which has been transcribed from the audio recording of the warm-up stage of the fifth grade lesson, the purpose of which is to review the target language of the previous lessons, and enable the learner to produce the correct form. The extra is open with me in managerial mode using the no transition marker, which serves to direct attention to the activity at hand, each to provide feedback to students about whether their response is acceptable or not. The strategy and their effectiveness. Introducing a turn-taking point scoring system that encourage participation, and the first is peer support. The second is using more and varied scaffolding, particularly the discursive variety. The third is reducing teacher echo, and the last is extending wait time. A turn-taking point scoring system that encourages peer support. This strategy involved the introduction of a turn-taking point scoring system in a game called T-Pong. One of the important things to know about this extract is because students are randomly selected, everyone has an equal opportunity to participate. No one can sit back and let the other students do all the work. using more discursive scaffolding. This strategy involves experimenting with follow-up movements that are qualitatively different from primarily evaluative follow-ups. The emphasis on the movement discursive follow-up on content and support for learning consisting primarily of the teacher providing a rich source of message-oriented target language input as she reformulates and elaborates on student contributions. The aim of the discursive V movement is to take student contribution and to incorporate them into the classroom discourse. In order to maintain and develop the dialogue between teacher and class. And the last is main findings. This dissertation has identified features of this teacher resources language use and interactional strategies, namely scaffolding, teacher echo, extended wait time, and turn taking, that can be adjusted to increase opportunities for learners, particularly the more reticent ones, to participate and learn. And then the evidence presented in this dissertation strongly suggests that teachers can develop grain understandings of their local context and make conscious change to classroom actions by analyzing data from their own teaching context and reflecting on it in dialogue and with colleagues. And the last is, this study has contributed to our understanding and knowledge of supportive teacher taught and interactional strategies in ALT fronted interaction in Japanese elementary schools, and has, it is hope, raises awareness of the issues of learner reticence and equality of access, as well as some practical technique that can be used to address them. That's all for me. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.